Welcome to PFG Academy episode 1. This is going to be the first of many videos that we make. That's basically just going to be a FAQ section for us to be able to answer and address situations that we run into on a daily basis and questions that we get a lot. So expect many more. That being said too, if you listen to this or off the top of your head, if you think of any topics that you want us to cover, please do not hesitate to tell your consultant in the office, and we will do our best to create the content for you. Every episode will have an episode number and then a title. This first title is going to be, what type of funding do you guys offer? This is a question we get asked obviously on a daily basis, so we figured this was a good starting point. So who is PFG? We do unsecured funding. So all we do is bank and credit union funding, and all that means is that there's no collateral attached to our funding. We work in all 50 states, very simple criteria. We are in the space of funding that is probably the easiest to qualify for from a criteria standpoint, and also very quick to process. So very easy criteria, minimal paperwork, and very quick to process. We're about 7 to 10 days of processing. So that's basically who we are in a nutshell. And then our two programs we have are a cash option and a credit option. Our cash option is a 5 or 7 year term loan. So it's fully amortized, same exact payment structure as, let's say, your home loan or your car loan. That's a fully amortized loan, meaning that there's no early termination fees. So just like if you pay your car off early or you pay your house off early, you're actually getting the funds much cheaper. So if we give you a 7 year term, but you pay it off in 5 years, you just skip 2 years of interest. So that's the payment structure. It's 5 or 7 years, again, fully amortized, cash deposited into your bank account. You're going to get, we don't control interest rates. So in institutional lending, meaning your money's coming from banks and credit unions, no one controls the interest rate but them. So, but that being said, we only deal with A-paper clients, so we get the best interest rates available. We typically say like 7 to 15%, but again, that's to cover a wide array of clientele, somewhere between 680 and 850 credit scores. So obviously, the better your credit, the lower your interest rate. So that program, again, cash deposited into your account, no restriction on use of funds, no minimum length of time in business requirement, no minimum business income requirement. We work with startups. We work with pretty much any business at any stage of business. So we have, again, probably the widest array of clientele in the country as far as lending goes. We're not really pigeonholed into one specific type of clientele. We can work in any industry and pretty much any vertical there is out there. So we do pretty well with that. Now, so that's our cash option. It's going to be a traditional monthly payment. Our criteria for that cash option is you have to have 680 credit scores across the board, personal credit scores, obviously, and then you have to have 50K or more in personal income the past 2 years. So we look at your credit report and we look at your 2 years of personal tax returns. And that 50K just gets you in the door. What it really comes down to, and this is probably something we deal with 20 times a day, is educating people on this. 50K gets you in the door. What it really comes down to is your debt to income ratio. So the way that we quantify that is we take your adjusted gross income, we divide it by 12. That tells us your monthly income on paper. Then we take your credit report, we add up all of the monthly bills on your credit report, and that tells us your monthly bills. We divide your total monthly bills by your total monthly income, and that tells us your debt to income ratio. So we need that number to be below 40%. The further it is below 40%, the more of a payment you can afford, which then correlates to the more funding that you receive. The higher your income is, the lower your debt to income ratio is, the more funding you receive. So that's really how we quantify what you're going to get from us, is through that simple equation on your debt to income ratio. So that covers the term loan. That's our cash option. That's our bigger option. That's definitely the bread and butter of what we do. That's anywhere, we advertise that's anywhere from 50K to 300K. Really, we've gone north of 500K in that program. We just don't advertise it because it's maybe one in every 150 clients. So it's not something that would be smart to advertise, because then everybody wants to get above 500K. And we want you to get above 500K, but we also want to set expectations for every client. So 50 to 300K is what we advertise on the cash option. Our second program, the credit portion of our funding, is multifaceted. So we have two credit options. We have a business line of credit, which is a traditional checkbook line of credit. That's the one everybody wants, obviously, but that one's very fickle on the bank's end, almost never available. We don't even advertise it. So when it is around, we push it hard. We get as many clients into it as possible. Everybody wants it, obviously, because it's the best of both worlds. It's credit with cash flexibility, but credit terms, which is amazing. But again, it's not around a lot, so it's not something we advertise. What is always around is the business credit cards. So that's our supplementary program. When we say business credit, it's generally about the business credit cards, and if the credit lines are around, great. Business credit cards, it's a business credit card that only reports to your business. It will not be on your personal credit report. So that's a huge benefit for all of you business owners that are swiping your personal credit cards for business expenses and running up your utilization and dropping your scores. That's not the correct way to do it. You need to establish business credit, keep all that debt on the business, and off your personal credit, so you still have your personal credit to be able to use for whatever you need, and you keep your scores intact, more importantly. So transition that to your business credit. Also, so it's a business credit card that's only reporting to your business. You get 0% for the first year. All the functionality of a normal business card or even a personal card. But also the huge benefit here is you're building your business credit. So now when you get to that next level of funding need for your business and you need to do a bigger round of funding, you have now an established business who's taken on debt, who has a paydex score, who has a Dun & Bradstreet, who looks really good in the bank's eyes from a standpoint of being seasoned, and you've proven that you can handle debt on the business unsecured, and that's a really good thing to have on your business. So if you have the need for the credit, obviously it's a nice supplement to the term loans. If you qualify for both the cash and the credit, we will pre-qualify you for both, and you have the option of doing both at the same time. So we might say, hey, you qualify for 200K cash and 100K credit, and you have the opportunity to do both of those and maximize how much funding that you receive. So that's definitely an option as well. Obviously, we push to get everybody as much funding as possible, or at least get them to the amount that they need. And that's always our goal, but within reason of what you qualify for. Obviously, we have restrictions there where we need to get you as high as possible, but it all really depends on what you qualify for. So that's our cash option and our credit option. The credit option criteria is simple. I just need you to have 700 and above FICO scores across the board. It's a stated income program. You don't need to prove any financials. You just need to have strong credit. We use your credit to obtain you the business credit that only reports to your business. So won't be on your personal credit, all the use of a normal card, but keeping it on the business end of things. So that's a pretty cut and dry program. Cash is pretty cut and dry. Everything we do here is pretty simple. 7 to 10 days of processing. We're really quick, in and out. We get all the funds into your possession, and you're back on track to do whatever you need to do with your business. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Again, if you want us to touch on any other topics, please let us know, and we will do our best to get that done. Until next time, thank you.